Welcome back to this week's video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the 5 best places to downsize in and around the Atlanta area. But the reason I wanted to do this video is really because this is something that I see a ton of in my day-to-day activities in a business, whether it's something that I'm actually doing to help out a client or we're just talking on the phone with potential prospects and they're having this issue and they know they can't sell because they're having X, Y, and Z reason. And I wanted to actually make a video about it today because downsizing is kind of a hard thing nowadays because you have so many different areas with so many different price points, even in one metro market, but also homes have appreciated so much that it's difficult to say what your home is worth. It's difficult to say what a lot of these other downsized homes that people could typically think of are actually worth. And I wanted to actually bring some clarity to you guys today. So I actually had 3 things that I determined to be the main things that I thought were important when helping out either my clients or people in general just find a good place to downsize. And those 3 things were: 1, pricing. I think pricing is a big thing, and I think optimally the best thing you can do is sell a big home in a nice area and then move to a cheaper area in a smaller home and keep a ton of that equity and be able to buy that new home in cash. I think that is the best thing that you can personally do. So I counted pricing into one of these. We wanted to find areas that weren't so prohibitively expensive. Some of these are a little more expensive than others. We just had to find good areas, but I wanted pricing to be something that really did play into effect, because it certainly does. And a lot of people have that problem of where to go into these downsized homes. And some people go into more expensive areas and you almost have to pay more for a smaller house. So that's certainly a problem people deal with. But also wanted to talk about just the density of places that you could move into. A lot of places with ranch homes, a lot of places with condos, and just things that made sense to downsize into in general. And then the third being just the general area, what it had to offer. More people that downsize aren't looking so much into the school districts. They're looking more into things like ease of living and hedonic value, and just the area being safe in general. So schools really aren't a huge deal. Obviously, you don't have to you don't have to be an empty nester to downsize. You could have kids and be able to do it. You could just have a huge house and want to do it. But typically what I run into is that people really don't care too much about the schools because most of the kids have left. But those are the 3 things that I have taken into account to this video, and just generally knowing where a lot of my clients have moved to and places that I've helped people out in the past, and what we were able to find and what things ended up being. And these are just some of the areas that I found that through my search as an agent just here, I found were good areas. So without further ado, guys, let's quit talking about it. Let's actually get into the video. 5 best places to live in Metro Atlanta for downsizing. For number 1 on the list, we have Duluth, Lawrenceville, and these are in no particular order. I just think they're all good areas. But I thought this was an exceptional area because it has the price point that a lot of people fall into. A lot of people are in the $300 to $450 price range when it comes to downsizing. And this area is right there in the middle, everywhere from $325,000, I would say, to $400,000. You can find a lot of ranch homes that are very excellent to be able to downsize in. And as you move into Duluth, it's more like $350 to $450, where you can find a lot of ranch homes or townhouses where they have a master on the main that you can move into and are very well suited for a downsized lifestyle, and being able to, 1, minimize those maintenance costs, but also 2, have an ease of living where everything is on that one floor. And I thought this area both had great levels of pricing and just a large variety of inventory when it came to looking. It's very easy. It makes my job easier, but it also makes it much easier for everybody else. But as far as the areas is concerned, Duluth and Lawrenceville both have a lot of action going on in them. From downtown Duluth to downtown Lawrenceville, there's a lot of things to do. They have the Fall Festival in Duluth. I actually have lived in Duluth before, and I thought it was a great area. I moved there, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in this weird area. Now I'm over in Duluth in Gwinnett County. But once I moved there, I was like, this is not a bad area at all. I actually really like the area, especially in Duluth. You have the kind of proximity to Johns Creek and Swanee, and there's a lot of things to do. It's also very easy to be able to access the highway from that area, and just getting around the city in general is kind of a breeze when you live in these areas. It's a very underrated place for being able to actually get on things like from anywhere from Peachtree Industrial all the way to the main artery, which is 85. So I thought they were very good areas for that, and this is certainly one of my favorites on the list for downsizing. So let's get into number 2 here, and we have East Cobb, Marietta. This is actually something that I have preached to clients. It's almost something I almost always suggest, unless someone's like only looking on the south side or they have to be in a specific area. I almost always tell people this, whether they're in the perimeter or they're in the North Atlanta area. I always mention Marietta, East Cobb as a phenomenal place to be able to downsize. One, because it is ranch galore. You could find every kind of ranch in every kind of condition and every kind of trim level. You can find everything from very cheap $300,000 ranches that are not too bad, all the way up to I've seen $1 million ones where you get closer to the Roswell side and they have a big plot and a lot of stuff done. It may have been overpriced, but once you see ranches in $1 million price point, it is a little crazy. But I find that everything tends to be in the 350 to 650 range, and it used to be a lot better. This area has seen a tremendous amount of investor activity, and to everybody's demise, it has significantly increased in price. When I first got into real estate a couple of years ago, one of my first sales was in this area, and we sold, bar none, the best house in the neighborhood for $430,000. We went on market at $420,000, and now that property is probably $500,000 to $550,000. I kid you not, it has seen a rocket ship level of appreciation in this area, and it kind of sucks to see. Honestly, it's made my whole spiel about this area being great for the price kind of go down the drain a little bit. But if you do go from the East Cobb side to the Marietta side, you will get some price relief, and it's certainly better. But this is just an exceptional area for being able to find these homes and their price. And if you have a little bit of wiggle room in your budget, this is a phenomenal area. As far as the areas are concerned, they're really more seen as very good school areas. There's not really a lot of hustle and bustle or cool stuff to go on there. There's a lot of parks in the area, and there's good golf in the area as well. But as far as a lot of things to do other than downtown Marietta and the Braves Stadium, there's not too much on the East Cobb side. But it is a very safe place to be. It is a very family-oriented area, and it's just generally a nice place to be. Nice, quiet neighborhood for anybody to downsize into. I still love it. It's a little more expensive than it used to be, but I still think this is probably, I said I haven't ranked these in any order, but I think this is the crown jewel. Okay, for number 3, yes, I have on a new tie. Yes, the background's different. And no, this totally is not a different day of recording because I got tired of the first one. So let's move on to number 3. Today, right now, we're talking about Midtown. And I didn't actually want to put Midtown on the list today because it's not something you typically think about when you think about downsizing. Downsizing, you typically think about people moving away from the city, not into the city itself. But it's actually a really good spot, and I'll tell you why here soon. But let's get on to the reason why people think this. A lot of people think younger people my age, want to move to the city to have fun, seek the thrills, and do everything that they want to do with a very fast-paced lifestyle that goes on in the city. It doesn't seem like a slow retirement age kind of thing to be able to do. But I find just through anecdotally just working with people that this really isn't the case. And I was under the assumption of this as well. I thought only young people lived in the city, but working with a lot of people, meeting a lot of people here in Midtown, I've realized that a lot of people actually downsize in the city, and for very good reasons. So reason number 1 being, it's a huge convenience to actually live in the city. And most people think of downsizing like a one-story thing, so they wouldn't ever think of a massive condo building like we have here in Midtown. But it's actually a very good place because we have elevators. You go in the elevator and you press a button, and you don't go up any stairs. It's actually almost better than a lot of ranches that will tend to have like 1 or 2 or 3 stairs. In a building in Midtown, there is always accessibility to handicapped people because it's in an area where you can't get away with it. You have to do it. So there's always an accessible ramp, or it's always street level. The elevators are always accessible. It's something that you can easily do, and whether you're handicapped or not, it's a very maneuverable place. But also, it's very convenient. When you have a condo, most of your things are taken care of. You're not doing yard work, you're not doing maintenance, you're not doing a lot of the things you associate with homeownership. A lot of that's pushed away and hunkered under HOA fees. And the backside to that is that you have to pay a lot in HOA fees. And it's one of the things that I ticked off Midtown a little bit, just because it's an ongoing, it's better to downsize here for the maintenance and the convenience of it. It's not best to downsize for the costs associated. I'm not saying it's very expensive to move into any of these, but it's much more expensive than just maintaining a home when you encounter the HOA fees and everything else. Even though when you actually move into a home, you still have all these costs associated. You're just not paying into it monthly. But other than that, I mean, it's still an area with a lot of restaurants. If you're older and you want to downsize into that, or you just want to, get into a place that's nice like that, it's a fantastic place to be. There's a lot of places to eat. There's a lot of things to do. You have the park. You have plenty of people within the community, and it's otherwise just a fantastic area. So that's my little rant for this video. Number 3 is I had to defend Midtown's honor for it. This channel is mainly based around it, so we had to do it. So going with number 4, we're going to go to a very, very stereotypical place of where you would think of downsizing. It's far out from the city. It's a place where you're going to have a lot of ranch homes. There's not too much going on as far as a lively scene like the polar opposite of Midtown. And for that, we have Cumming, Georgia. Cumming, Georgia is actually an excellent place still. It's still very close to Lake Lanier, which a lot of people, when they downsize, they want to go into a place like Lake Lanier. Cumming's either literally on Lake Lanier, but a lot of it is just far away enough that it's not too much of a drive at all to get over there. But there's tons of 55 plus communities in Cumming and Canton as well. And as you go along up into Sugar Hill and Swanee, there's still plenty of places to be. There's a lot of ranch homes. It's relatively affordable in certain areas where it's less developed. If you go into one of these 55 plus communities, you pay a premium. That is for sure. You're not going to get like a $350,000 ranch when you move into one of these communities. It's like $400 to $550, and sometimes a little bit more than that. I found that the affordability of these is making the downsizing effort considerably more difficult for people nowadays. The affordability is not just within young people these days. People really have this problem, even in their older years, with downsizing into these 55 plus communities, because the affordability of them is just so low. Even if you're selling a house and paying in cash, a lot of people want to keep that in cash. They don't want to have a mortgage, so it's very hard to find the next home that is in that affordable range being in cash. So that is a problem we frequent a lot, and Cumming, it can be a little bit more expensive and difficult to do, but otherwise it's a phenomenal area. It's certainly more quiet. It certainly has a lot of the good amenities like shopping and other things around there as far as grocery stores and things. It's just a good family-based area, and a lot of people like that quiet and sereneness when they downsize, so I can't knock it off. I think Cumming is a fantastic place, and a lot of people talk about going there. So last but not least, we have Peachtree City. I wanted to put a Southside city in here because I think Peachtree City is an awesome place. Whether you're downsizing or not, it is a fantastic place to be. Whether you're raising children or you're an empty nester and you're just getting away from things. It's a little bit away from the city, just like a lot of these other ones that you're seeing today. But it's a really nice place, and the best thing about that, which a lot of people actually for some reason don't know about, is it has golf carts and the golf cart paths, and it's like literally the whole thing the city is about, and people don't know this. But you can like drive your golf cart everywhere around the city, and it's just insane. When I was a kid and my cousins lived there, I thought it was the best thing ever. I don't know if that thrill like passes on until when you're like older. Like, I don't know if I went now and it'd be so fun, but when I was a kid, it was the coolest thing ever. So just on that memory alone, I think it would be quite a nice place to move there. But it's a little bit more expensive in regards to the south side, but if you're moving from the north side down, you have a lot of equity built up just in the higher appreciation that north side to come down into a place like Peachtree City. And it makes a lot of sense there. If you get priced out of somewhere like I mentioned previously, Cumming, you can probably find a nice downsized style home in Peachtree City. It makes a lot of sense. It's nice, and it's a great place to be. It's a very family-based area, and I can't say enough. I think it's an incredible place. I think there's still a lot of things to do. Super close to Atlanta, super close to the airport, and you have other places like Noonan there around that's flourishing. You have Stockbridge, McDonough, and a lot of other places down there. And you're also not too far away from the other places like the Atlanta Speedway is not too far as well. You have other cool things like the Porsche Experience around there. But as far as Peachtree City, like day-to-day things, I think it's hard to beat like going to the grocery store or something in a golf cart and then just puttering your way back, talking to neighbors and seeing people. It's a kind of cool thing. It's almost like a Disney movie down there. So certainly a place that I wanted to put on the list today and have you guys check out. But guys, that is all we have for today. Absolutely go and research these places. I can only put so much into a video that's 10, 15 minutes long about all these places. I could go on and on and on about my experiences and the experiences of the people that have helped move into these places, and then just, generally like stats and things and little areas that I don't even know about right now. But I wanted to keep this video for you short. So if you liked any of these areas and you thought they were pretty neat and you saw any of the B-roll and you thought that was a nice place to move to, by all means, go and research these places and see if it makes sense for you. And then give me a call. We'll look more in depth into some of these places. If you're really serious about it, we'll look a lot more depth. We have before. I don't remember everything from every transaction, but I can definitely tell you what people have encountered in the past and what people will probably encounter in the future as these developments grow in certain areas that I mentioned today. But certainly reach out to someone like myself or someone that you trust and see what you can learn about some of these areas if you're interested. But guys, that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will let you guys get back to it.